Hello, the internet! It is Saturday, the 15th of June, 2024, and welcome back to the channel. I guess to answer the question in the description of this live stream, this description reads, what would it take for a regular Joe like myself to lay down the bucks for a record like this? Let's discuss why I was content to pay the amount I did for what I purchased. Of course, what did I purchase? I purchased a pre-order of Ween chocolate and cheese. G'day, Rob Mack in the chat. How you doing, man? Good to see you, buddy. I purchased a pre-order of a record that comes out in August. It's the 30th anniversary of said record. That would make it 1994 when it was first released, and I would have got that album in 1995, I suppose. I mean, it could have been 94. I'd have to really go back in my memory and search. But those that know me will know that Ween is my favorite band, and also insignificantly the greatest band to have ever been a band. Yeah, I've got a lot of respect for what these guys have done over the years. Got a lot of good stories about shows that I've seen. Unfortunately, none current. Ween haven't toured Australia in way too long. I think 2016. No. Fuck no. 2009. Quite a difference. I was living in Adelaide. That was the Governor Hindmarsh La Cucaracha tour. I think that was 2009. So they haven't, I don't know if they even know Australia exists anymore, but they're doing a lot of touring and they're doing their thing, but they're not coming to Australia. So maybe sometime in the future we might see a tour, but it doesn't matter so much because I've seen them play. So if you've never seen Ween play and you live in Australia, that sucks balls, because unless you're willing to take a trip to the States, you probably won't see them play live. So I'm lucky enough to have seen them, have those memories. So yeah, but I'll tell some stories, I'll tell some memories, tell some stories, tell a little about why I spent what I did spend. Spoiler alert: 160 Australian dollars for a record, a vinyl record. Okay, it's 3 records or it's 3 discs, but 160 bucks seems like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money. I'm very fortunate. I pulled the pin and bought it whilst I was drinking. It was a Saturday night. It was a Saturday night when this happened last week, I think it was. I was finished up. One of the best records ever, Rob Mack. I salute that. Yeah, definitely the best record. One of the best records ever made. It's not a big... You're speaking to the converted here, dude. I feel like it is the best record created. Anyway, what was it? It was last Saturday. I'd done a stream. We'd been drinking, having a good time. I finished my stream. I went off and did something, came back with another drink or something, and I was just flicking through Facebook. And the Ween Appreciation Society, that webpage or that Facebook group, came up with a link to, would you believe, the 30th anniversary of Chocolate and Cheese. Click here to pre-order. And I clicked here and it went to the Ween webpage. Let's go over there and take a look at it right now, I guess. The Ween webpage looks like this. If you scroll down, here is the Chocolate and Cheese 30th Anniversary Deluxe Edition. And when you clicked on that Facebook group, it took you to this page here, which is the purchase page. Now, I was on that page and I was looking at it thinking 69 US dollars. That'd be a good price for Dale to buy. 69 US dollars was the cost price. By the way, I thought, and maybe it was because I was boozed up, but I thought so there's 2 vinyl versions. There's the tricolor edition. Is that big enough? Oh, the disc doesn't get any bigger, just the text does. That's yeah, there's the tricolor or there's the black vinyl. They're both the same price. I thought that they were slightly different. I thought the tricolor championship belt vinyl was dearer than the black vinyl, but looking at this, they're both priced at $69.98. So either way, I was on that website and I had added it to my cart, and then I'd converted that cost to Australian dollars. Hey Siri, what's 70 US dollars in Australian dollars?
$70 is $105 $105.78.
$105 Australian, which is already at the pretty much the extremities of what you should expect to pay for a vinyl release. That's what I thought anyway. And then when it was in my cart, it said estimate shipping cost. The shipping cost added another $60 or another $50 or so, $55 onto the top of it. So the total cost was $160 to buy this record, to get it shipped to Australia. And I sat there and I actually got up and left saying, I'm not paying that. That's outrageous. And then I think I went and took a slash, came back and I went, what are you talking about, dude? It's the greatest record ever from the greatest band ever. You're never going to buy this on vinyl ever. I don't even own the CD of it anymore. I've just got the digital files. I just came back in and went, fuck off, and just pressed buy and bought it. And I was just like, cool, I bought it. It doesn't come here until August, so I was like, oh, whatever, I'll just forget about it. I went to bed, forgot about it, woke up in the morning, went back onto the Ween Appreciation Society's page and saw a lot of people fuming at it because it sold out like that. Apparently it went ultra, like all versions, the tricolor championship belt, the black vinyl one, they both went super quick. And now, if you go on the website, it's all sold out. Sold out, sold out. You can't buy this. You can't pre-order it. You can't buy it. Sold out. So suck balls whoever didn't buy it. Is that gnarly to say? Too gnarly to say? Suck dead dog's balls. Whoever didn't buy it. Look, I'll be honest. The only reason I ended up pressing purchase was because I was a little bit twisted, and I had verified in my mind it's worth it. So that's what I bought. That's why I bought it. And then I wanted to talk a little about when I first discovered this band, just for shits and giggles. So yeah, it would have been before this album came out, just before Chocolate and Cheese. By the way, if you don't know this band and you're thinking about tapping in, like getting in and having a listen to some of their music, first of all, I would suggest you already have heard some of their music and you just don't know you've heard it. So if you ever watched SpongeBob SquarePants, you would have heard the Ocean Man. That's from another album of theirs called The Mollusk, a nautically themed album. Pretty strange. It's all about the ocean and sailing and animals from the ocean. So you would have heard Ocean Man. You also may not have known you were hearing Ween, but they are on the South Park soundtrack. The track is Homo Rainbow. Not an album song. I don't think that ever came. Oh, well, Shanola, but yeah, not an official album song, but that's a pretty cool song you might have heard. Hey, Dale's in the chat. How you going? Boo-hoo, what to do? I was just saying before, man, this is priced at $69. You would have appreciated that costing. Hey, $69. And then you might have also heard Ween back in the early 90s, 1992, or was it 1993? From their Pure Guava album, they did have somewhat of a big international single, Push the Little Daisies. Now, that song is somewhat infuriating to a lot of people, myself included. I don't think that song is that great. I never really did think that song is that great. In the context of that album, Pure Guava, that song fits in quite well. Like all the other songs. The only song that doesn't work on that album for me is that Morning Glory one. That's just a throwaway. But the rest of that album, including that song, fits together. But when you take that song off the album and you just play it as an individual track and you say to someone, hey, have a listen to this. It's a band called Ween. You're probably not going to sell it to anybody. They're probably going to be like, what the fuck? Okay, whatever. But on Chocolate and Cheese, there is an endless amount of music that should, if you like music, if you have an appreciation of music, on this album there is 100% music that should appease you at any turn of the dial or any dropping of the needle. And what I wanted to illustrate is don't be put off or don't be turned off by the artwork. I mean, arguably tits are good. Why would you get turned off by some tits? But the point of it is, the album is not indicative of the artwork, or the artwork is not indicative of the music at all. I personally think that artwork sucks balls. I think that's rubbish. That artwork is pretty funny for a tour poster, but for an album, I've always thought it's lame. But the album itself is fantastic. The music on this album is so varied, which is pretty indicative of Ween in general. All of their stuff, maybe bar the first album, which you could consider like a metal album, but typically their music is quite all over the place. It genre hops. It shifts from, sometimes jazzed up, psychedelic. If you like Prince, right? The Purple Man. If you like Prince, you will 100% like this band. That's probably enough of an insight. If you think you want to hear a bit of their music and you've already appreciated the artist formerly known as, then this will work for you without a doubt. You will find yourself, okay, cool. So in the first time, by the way, this is fuck. For those Australians, Rob Mack, hey, MD Witt's in the chat. Hey, going MD. David's in the house too. Hey, you doing, man? If anybody in Australia remembers, because when I got this album on CD, I'm gonna say it was 95. I'm gonna say it was the year after it came out, or it came out in August of 94. So maybe I don't know. Anyway, well, actually we could find out because there was the tour as well. So we saw them play at the Metro Theatre. Was that with? Oh man, I got some memories of that show too. Was that with Beck? Was that Beck and Ween? Nah. I feel like Beck played with Custard. The Blues Explosion? Nah. Dude, I've got a terrible memory for this stuff, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. But I'll tell the story about that show because I do remember a funny incident by my friend Adrian. Very funny. But yeah, when this album came out in Australia at the time, I believe CDs were really overpriced. Like they got up to like $39 at one point for a new release. $39. Hey Siri, what's 39 Australian dollars in US dollars?
$39 is 25 US dollars.
25 US is what at one point CDs jumped up to that high of a sale price. But what they were doing, which I don't really understand why they did this, a lot of times when you buy a new release, the record store, it seemed like the record store did it. There'd be the previous album sticky taped to the back of it. Do you guys remember that? So you could go in and you could flick through the new releases, and then you'd find like Ween chocolate and cheese with pure guava stuck to the back of it for the same price. So you pay 25 US, you pay 39 Australian, but you actually get their current album and you get their previous album. I don't really understand why that was a thing, but that was the thing for a few years anyway, maybe 3 or 4 years that lasted. And so I got pure guava at the same time, or I got chocolate and cheese with pure guava at the same time. So my introduction to Ween was arguably through their greatest album and potentially a very tricky album to listen to because pure guava is, it's a little bit harder to go for. Wait a second, man. I saw Ween. What the fuck is wrong with my memory? Alternative Nation Ween played. Arguably the greatest festival Australia's ever had. Did any Australians go to Alternative Nation? That was a festival like none other. Very, very cool. 1995. Okay, so that nails it. What year would the Chocolate and Cheese tour have been? Or did that tour, did the Alternative Nation tour, did Ween also do a headline set at the Metro? No, that would have been after. Because either way, at Alternative Nation, Ween just did the tape deck thing, just the two of them with a tape deck. But at their headline tour at the Metro, they had a full band. So I wonder if that was the same year. It must have been later on. Yeah, Australia. I don't think Ween would have toured Australia on the back of the release of Chocolate and Cheese. I think it would have come after, like quite a whiles after, probably 1996 maybe. MD Witt, not familiar with them. Rob Mack was at Alternative Nation. Dale, my knowledge of Ween is like your knowledge of Rush, very limited. Yeah, okay, well, yeah, you're going to find out a lot more here. And Hendrik, how you doing, man? Didn't see you come in. Benon, give us a brief history of bio of Ween. So, I mean, the story goes that the two of them, or two, and I'm not going to tell this with any great, what's the word? Accuracy, because the story of how they formed doesn't really affect me. It doesn't concern me. They just make good music. I've always sort of found that interesting. People sort of gravitate towards, I don't know, like the personal side of things, but in actual fact, they're just two dudes making music. So I don't know. Always try to separate that. But the story goes that two dudes met each other in high school or in middle school, whatever it's called in the States, and they joke about it. They say that they were in a classroom and they saw the demon god Bugnish. If you're not sure what the demon god is, this is the demon god Bugnish on their website. This thing here, this is their graphic. They say that they saw Bugnish rising up over a windowsill or something, and they knew that at that point they needed to form a band together. I mean, take that how you will, but either way, they started jamming together and they wrote music, and they wrote a lot of music. And as young boys do, they also imbibed in a lot of enhancements. And maybe that helped them create the music. Maybe that didn't. Maybe they just experienced life like anybody else, except that they wrote and recorded, because they had 4-track recorders and you could document everything, kind of like what we do now with phones, just documenting everything. They just did it and they got better at their craft. You might say that some of their earlier releases are no different to any other two dudes in a high school smashing out songs, and you'd probably be right. They're just sort of people, just two kids learning to play and having a good time. What came later, when they honed their skill, was some very, very interesting music, very intriguing music. And as they got older, the music got more and more intriguing, and you might say it got a little bit more, I don't know, eclectic, I suppose. They got more skilled. They became way more efficient at their chosen instruments. And it just flourished and just bloomed. The beautiful thing about it is when you see them live, they play a whole variety of their music. They don't just go, we're here on this new album. The last time I saw them, La Cucaracha, that was the album they were touring. They don't just say, oh, we're going to play our new album. They take songs from like all over their catalog, like even like pre first album songs, like demo songs. They play it. You basically could call out and say, play this song, and they'd probably be like, oh, we haven't done that one in like, yeah, okay. And then probably just be like, okay, and then they'd play it. That it's almost like a jukebox of music that they can just dip into and smash out. Speaking of live, while we're here, so this story at the Chocolate and Cheese show, whichever year it was, we should search it up. Rob, can you search up what year Ween played on the Chocolate and Cheese tour at the Metro Theatre in Sydney, and who they played with? Because I'd love to remember that, and I know you can find it. Hendrik, I didn't know Ween until Gibbs introduced it to me. Thank you. I'm happy to have done that. I'm happy to have been able to give you Ween. Similar to the Who style, or similar to which? Oh, not the Who. So the style, Dale, it's very difficult to answer that question because there is no real style or genre. But if you really, really wanted to nail it down, they play musical instruments. They play guitar, right? They play guitar and sing. That's if you really wanted to boil it down to its base level. They play music, they play guitar and they sing. But that is just the top of the situation. There's so much more in there. So yeah, this Metro show in 1990, whenever. This was a show that at the Metro Theatre, there was no barrier. There was no stage barrier. It was basically crowd all the way up to the front of the stage. No security. I don't know if that was a Ween request, because the Metro Theatre certainly has a barrier and many gigs there on that era or in that era, you'd have the barrier up. But for this show, it was just you dudes can just walk up to the stage and just lean on the stage and watch Ween play. And it's about just under chest height, not a huge stage. Still there to this day. I've been there a bunch of times recently, photographed. I've never photographed Ween. Can you believe that? That's another story. But anyway, so at this show, on stage, the band had Zambuca Galliano on stage, of which they were necking from. This is kind of like, I guess, sort of like peak, or not peak, but early, because they did have their issues with alcohol. Like I believe Dina is currently taking some time off touring right now for his mental health, which probably would indicate too much boozing. Booze him up and don't get him so high. Those that know will know that song. Anyway, at this show, yeah, because there was no security and there was this Galliano on stage, and we're up the front just enjoying the set. My friend Adrian, hello Aid if you're watching, Aid Levitt, he just gets up on stage, he just climbs up on the stage, doesn't go to Gina and like by the way, other people were getting on stage. It wasn't just like Aid got up on stage. There were people getting up on stage and, I don't know, just doing shit and getting back off the stage. No security was really... I don't know. It was weird. It was like any other time someone gets on stage, you've usually got like a roadie or someone that's going to just get you off stage and either push you off or just... But it was just like... And I think because... I don't know, like... Ween fans are, I don't know, we're just chilled. There was no dramas. It was just like, okay, well, now that you can get up on stage, let's not everyone get up on stage, but some people were. Anyway, Aid gets up on stage, goes right past Gina, who's up the front on the mic with acoustic guitar. I think this was during Buenos Tardes Amigo. Aid goes right past Gina, right up to the drum riser, gets the Galliano. Big skull of this band's Galliano, like took way more than he probably should have. Puts it back down, walks back past Gina, just pats him on the shoulder, just like nice work, and then just hops off the stage back into the crowd. That's it. Didn't cause problems, didn't cause drama, just wanted the Galliano, just made his way up gently, carefully, moved past the band members, took the bottle, puts it back down, pat on the shoulder of Gina, and gets back into the crowd to watch the rest of the show. Oh, it was so silly, hey? I mean, I don't know. Yeah, we all laughed. I don't think anybody was upset. I don't think anybody was offended. But nowadays, you probably have a whole blog written about it and how wrong it is and how offensive and how much blah blah blah. But anyway, pretty funny. Rob Mack has a link there. Rob, thank you for that, dude. Let me just grab that, man. Show filter, show finder. I want to see what that I want to find out what year. Here's this link that Rob put in the chat. Are you sure you want to leave YouTube? Yes. We're going to the Brown Base. Metro Theatre Sydney, 3 shows. 1995, 1997. Okay, so interesting. So this tour here, the Metro Theatre on the 22nd of January, February, March, April. Yeah. That's the one I'm talking about. That show right there. And then these 1997 dates, I would have been living in Perth, and I saw them at Red Room, the red. I guess we can find out. I'll just click on something to get me another tab open. There's the set list. Rad. I haven't been on here in a while, dude. This has changed. Can we find a venue in Perth called the Red or something? Red somewhere? Red shows for Ween, statistics for Ween. Filter by place, city, Perth. Ozone Bar, that was it. It wasn't called Red. There was a sidebar called the Red Room or something. That's okay. So I saw them on that tour. I had this interesting encounter with a lovely lady at that show too. That was interesting. Right when they played She Fucks Me, which was near mid section. Oh, interesting. It's not listed on here. It doesn't say that they played She Fucks Me here, but they definitely did. Unless my memory is wrong, but that's when I made the contact with this girl. Wow, that's interesting. That's definitely the tour, 1997. In Western Australia, in Perth. Yeah, okay, rad. I first saw them here. Now, what show is that you've got there, Rob? Let me grab that little linky poop. If that's the Alternative Nation show, are you sure you want to leave YouTube? Yes, of course I do. At the DY Hotel in 1993. Dude, so you saw them on the 93 tour? At the DY Hotel. So that would have been a two-piece then, right? Interesting. That's way before that's well before Chocolate and Cheese came out. But look, Chocolate and Cheese tracks here. Don't Shit Where You Eat. Freedom of 76. Just two there. Well, Vallejo, that's a B-side from Chocolate and Cheese. You, what Dina was talking about, that's interesting. Just the two of them. Yeah, right. So then let's take a look at let's take a look. Filter by band. Oh wow, that's cool. It's got all the bands. Can we just search for Alternative Nation? I just want to see the lineup on that bill. Alternative Nation Festival 95. Faith No More was the headline. Alternative Nation was a series of music festivals held in Australia in 1995, organised by a consortium of concert promoters: Michael Koppel, Michael Chugg, Michael Godinsky. Lineup. Give me the lineup. Get off there once you click it. Brisbane. I want to do the Sydney lineup. Why has it got Brisbane only? Why is it only Brisbane? Eastern Creek Raceway. What? Why has it only got the Brisbane lineup? I mean, it's the same lineup, right? I mean, look at this lineup. Look at this lineup. Nine Inch Nails, Faith No More, Lou Reed, Tool, Pop Will Eat Itself, Dream Killers, Insurge, Body Count, Ice-T, Pennywise, Andy Preboy, Skunk Hour, Therapy, Primus, The Tea Party, Powderfinger, Cosmic Psychos, Regurgitator, Super Groove, Horsehead, Don Walker's Catfish, Downtime, L7, Live, The Flaming Lips, Ween, Def FX, Fur, Nitocris, Custard, Chalk, and Bud. That is an epic lineup of bands, man. That's insane how good that lineup was. And get this, alcohol free. And I don't mean free alcohol. I mean no booze. No booze at a festival. That's illegal, right? How can they have made any money at that thing? There was no alcohol at that festival, so we drank on the way there. What a bizarre thing to do. Like, imagine today there's a festival and they're like, oh yeah, it's alcohol free zone, no alcohol. Be like, what? What are we going to do all day? What are we going to do when we're watching our favorite band, tapping our feet, banging our head? We got to be drinking. Doesn't make any sense. That's bizarre. But yeah, Ween, I remember that because Ween, so that means that they toured twice that year. That means they came to Australia twice. Where's the first Metro Theatre? They played in April at the Metro, and then when was Alternative Nation? 15th of April. Okay. So what am I trying to think here? The show at Alternative Nation, they were a two-piece. They just played with the tape deck. Yet then they played a few days later at the Metro as a full band. How come they didn't play as a full band at Alternative Nation then? Well, they were in town. The rest of the band were like, "No, you guys can do that festival. I heard there's no booze there. Just you two can do it." I don't know. I don't know what. I don't understand that. I mean, they definitely had their shit. They also had, from memory, there was some issues with their tape, their DAT machine at the Alternative Nation Festival. It was weird. There was like, from what I remember, there were 2 stages at the front, and then it kind of like was a bit of an amphitheater, and it went up over a hill, and over the hillside was stage 3, and then further across was stage 4, and that's the stage that Ween played on. So to even get to Ween, you had to go away from the main stage, over this rise and back down, and then back around the back there, and all the way over in this little shitty area. All of it was completely mudded up too. It was really, really muddy at that festival. A lot of that mud got lobbed on stage during Body Count. Nobody really was there. Nobody liked Ice T and Body Count. They were throwing mud, or maybe that was the way they showed their appreciation, by lobbing mud at him. The Metro was 95. Yeah, and so was Alternative Nation. Oh wait, was Alternative Nation 95? Yeah. Yeah, 1995. Yeah, both of them were 95. Yeah. The festival had an excellent lineup, but suffered when both headline acts, the Chili Peppers and Stone Temple Pilots, withdrew because Faith No More was on the bill, and I think there was that Mike Patton and Anthony Kiedis spat going at the time. So, I guess to sum everything up here, the reason that I was comfortable paying 160 Australian dollars for a piece of vinyl, or 3 pieces of vinyl, was because of who the band is, what the album meant to me when I first heard it, including the other album, Pure Guava, because they came together. I listened to both of them quite a lot together, and where it still sits in terms of what I consider good music. It still holds up even today. That's an album, and you guys will hear it. We'll do a virtual vinyl here. That's an album that holds up easily. It doesn't matter that it's now 30 years past. It's still music that is not suitable, but what's the word? It's still it's non-specific to an era, is what I'm trying to say. And I think that's what Ween do very, very well, because they genre hop and they don't really pigeonhole themselves. They also don't timestamp themselves to any one particular decade or any one particular time, because they move around so much. Things come and go, like styles come in, fashion comes out, whatever. That one minute they could be the Fiesta band doing the Spanish thing, the next minute they're off doing some metal-inspired epic fucking masterpiece. Then they come back with a little acoustic number. It doesn't like slot itself into anything. It just skirts around everywhere. And the beautiful thing is, you can take bits from it and you can be like, well, if let's say you're not a metal fan, right? Let's say you don't like anything metal. You've never been into metal. You didn't understand it. You didn't care for it. You never liked it, but yet you like what you hear from this Ween band. And then you hear a metal song from them and you're like, oh, okay. Okay, well, if that's my introduction to metal, I can take that. I don't mind a little of this. Okay. And then suddenly you hear about what bands that these guys like, and suddenly you start branching out and listening to a little bit of, let's say, some metal. And then the next thing you know, your appreciation for music has widened. It's gotten bigger and more encompassing because you listen to a band like Ween. What did Henry Rollins say way back in the day? Ween is the greatest band ever. What did he say? Something like, all you university students going home listening to your Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians, you should be listening to Ween. He knew. He got it right. Benon, at some point you really must get a better turntable. The one you use is intro level. Sounds good though. My record player sounds rad. Shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? My record player sounds fine. What another story I was going to tell, or another quick side note I was going to mention. There was something I was going to say. Dale confused me, reminded me, distracted me, did all those things about me. I can't remember what I was going to say. It was about Ween. something about music, something about the diversity of music, something about the Triple J files. As a little side story, in Australia there's a radio station that still exists. It's called Triple J. Now, look, all credit to Triple J. Those were the guys that first kind of, I guess, broke this band in this country. You could argue that they were already getting airplay with the video clip for Push the Little Daisies, but it was Triple J that really went hard and promoted the singles from Chocolate and Cheese, and even the pure guava stuff as well, but mainly Chocolate and Cheese, and then 12 Golden Country Greats and et cetera, et cetera. But what Triple J used to do, they had a program called the J Files, and it was when it first aired, it was a 3-hour radio show. Shut up. It was a 3-hour radio show focused in on a particular band, and it would change bands every week. And on this particular week, due to me, I'm not kidding, this is me, I did this, I made this happen. I'm not even lying about that. I did this. I was so vocal on the Triple J website. There was like a bulletin board style forum back in the day, and I was constantly barraging the producer of the show, a guy called Richard Kingsmill. I basically spammed him like nonstop. Man, can you do a Ween J Files? Can you do a Ween J Files? Please, man, do a Ween. Because this is before the internet really kind of popped off. And I mean, the internet was there, but it was a little bit early, and like trying to track down stuff and good versions of this and that. He had the resources to pull all the shit together and present a 3-hour radio show, uninterrupted, mind you, no ads, just this is going to be 3 hours of Ween interviews, discussion, rare tracks, demos, live stuff, viewer requests, call-ins with people. And I was like, you've got to do Ween, man. You've done all the other bands and everything. Now you got to do the greatest band. And he's like, yeah, we will. And he chose to do it. I shit you not. When he finally said yes to me, he chose to do it. I moved to New Zealand for a year. I lived in New Zealand in the year 2000. I wanted to escape the Olympic Games here in Sydney. That was a big mistake. That was probably the best time to be in Sydney, from what I understood. Parties everywhere. I decided to eject and go to live in New Zealand. And so I was in New Zealand when he chose to do the Ween J Files. And God bless, I got him there somewhere. I got him right here, actually. I could probably grab them. I'll grab them. Hold on a second. Here's two of them anyway. What Richard Kingsmill did was something that is considered illegal back in the day. He recorded from the desk, from his studio, that the shit that goes from his setup out onto the radio station, he recorded straight to disc. There's two of them here. I've got the third one somewhere. The J Files went to air in June of 2000, and then he sent me these to New Zealand. He sent me the master discs of the Ween J Files. There's part 2. His writing. And he even called me out on the air and said, this is for Benon Julius William Otto Kirch. And he got my name perfect. I never spoke to the guy verbally, but he pronounced my name perfectly. And he sent this to me. So I managed to listen to the Ween J Files in New Zealand, I guess a week or so after it went to air. Kingsmill is gone now. Yeah, he's gone. And there's stories to be had there, I guess. But I thanked him. I tweeted at him once and thanked him. He never responded. I DM'd him on Twitter. He never responded. But either way, the stories around Ween. So I've told a live story. I've told Ado drinking the Galliano. I've told how I found out about the band. I've told the J Files. And I've told the last time they toured Australia was in 1997, I think. No. 2007, La Cucaracha tour. I'll just make this side note here. So I've never done the fandoms thing, right? I've never really been like fanboy over anybody. And I've had in my photography career, I've had the pleasure of meeting a whole bunch of musicians, like heaps of different celebrities, like from top level to just up the street in your local bar, everything in between. And I've never fanboyed anybody. I've always thought, you like the band for the music. They could be fucking pricks in real life. They could be real assholes of people, but the music they make's wonderful, right? James Hetfield, he was a tool, right? It was a tool to me anyway. So I love Metallica's music, but he was an absolute tool in another story. But so what I'm getting at is when Ween played the last time the final time in Australia at the Governor Hindmarsh in Adelaide, where I was living, there's a car park behind the venue where loading occurs, and there is a public car park attached to it, I guess, or part of it. Part of it is like obviously which is traffic cones up just for the bands and stuff, and then there's the public car park, and then further up the street there's like an offshoot extra car park. And in this instance, I'd parked further up at the other car park, and we were walking down to you got to go around the back of the venue, and then you got to go around to the front to come into the venue. And so we were coming around there, and it was an absolute cranking sunset. It was such a good sunset. We were all looking at it going, look at that sunset. And as we walk along, who do we see but Gina taking photos of the sunset next to the venue, or just right at that back loading area kind of thing. He did have, at one point, he was promoting his photography, and he was getting into digital photography, DSLR style. And by the way, this is just as I was starting my music photography career. So I wasn't at that gig to photograph Ween. I was there as a punter. By the way, that's the last time I've paid to see a show. That's the last time. Fuck, that's another strange. That's the very last time I've bought a ticket to a show. That was the Ween in 2007, La Cucaracha tour at the Governor Hindmarsh. I've been to like probably close to 1,000 gigs since then, and I've never paid for one. I've been paid to shoot them. But anyway, yeah, and what I was going to say is about fanboying. I just walked like directly, like that's Gina sort of shooting the sunset. I just walked right past him, didn't say anything, just kind of like looked at him, and I was like, I know who he is. In fact, I've paid money to see him do the thing that he does well in a little while up on that stage. I don't need to speak to him here. I don't need to say anything. He knows. I'm probably wearing a Ween shirt at the time. He knows that these people that are walking this way are going to his show. So I just was like, I'm not even going to bug the guy. I mean, the point of this story is he was shooting photos, and I ended up seeing those photos on his very brief photo website that lasted, I don't know when, I can't remember how long that lasted, but it wasn't forever. But I don't know if he still shoots photos, but I would like to photograph Ween. There's that. I photographed Dean Ween. Does that count? Halfway, I suppose. Arguably, Dean Ween Group is everything except Gina. So, but that was a good show. But yeah, one of the things I guess in my bucket list I'd love to check off, photographing Ween. Dale, I was quite different. I went full fanboy at Time War 3. I met a few famous people in my day. Yeah. I don't know, like I've never really thought, like, people are just people, you know, like, I don't know, like they just do their thing, right? They're just good at what they do, and that's why we like them. Like, we like music that they make. I guess I can separate the music from the person. Now on the other side of the coin, if one of my friends is in a band and they say, hey, my mate's got this band and they're pretty cool, you'd probably like them, come along, and we hang out with the band and we all get along as friends, and then the music's rad, that's different. You're like, oh man, your mate you introduced me to, he's rad, and he plays a mean guitar too, and that set was great. That's when you get like, you kind of get this better appreciation, because not only are they mates of your, like they're friends of your friend, but then you know everybody, and then you're in this circle. I guess, I don't know, like hip hop in Adelaide. I got in with some hip hop crew there because of the Hilltop Hoods, and they introduced me to the Funkors, and just this kind of like this vibe, or this friendship grew from just photographing friends of friends bands. And then parties happened, and then it's kind of like, are you bringing those guys to this party? I'm like, yeah, but they're just the people, right? They're just the dudes. I don't know, like it's even weirder in Adelaide, because Adelaide's such a small town, you know. Since when do YouTube live streams have ads? They've always had ads. I've always had them turned on too. I've got to get paid here. By the way, smash the like button. I see 7 watching. How many refreshed? I'm gonna trouser refresh and see how many likes are on this. Where's my mouse? Hey, where's my mouse? Here it is. Let me trouser refresh. Just want to see how many likes are on this machine. 5's good. 5's good. 6 watching and 5 likes. I mean, I got no other stories to tell you, except that when this piece of vinyl arrives, we will obviously do a virtual vinyl stream, and we'll talk about it, and I'll probably tell the same stories I've just told now over again. But yeah, I hope, look, if anyone takes anything from this stream, the idea of it is to put in concrete, or put in the historical document that I paid 160 Australian dollars to get a vinyl record into Australia. And had you have been drunk at the time and you clicked purchase at the same time, you'd have it as well, because it's sold out. I don't know if there's going to be more coming, right? It's on eBay. People have posted it on eBay for absolutely absurd pricing. Let's have a look. Let's just do a search. Chocolate and cheese 30th anniversary. Pitchfork, Happy Valley Shop. Happy Valley Shop? So record stores are selling them. Man, so they bought them? There it is. That's US, dude. That's US dollars, 165 US. I paid 160 Australian. Hey Siri, what's 160 Australian in US?
$160 is 105 US dollars and 88 cents.
I paid 105 US dollars for the tricolor one. This is just the black vinyl one, selling in a retail store called Winter Vinyl. 165 US, suck balls. 170 Australian. There's the tricolor one. Pre-order. So you can still, I guess you can still pick it up. Pick up available? How can that already be pick up available? That's not even out yet, dude. It doesn't come out till August. Let's check eBay for the biggest prices. There's a poster. The jacket and vinyl quality matters in value bigly. Yeah, for sure. We hope that it's oh, there's the tour posters. We hope that it's good. Don't see it. I don't see it here on eBay. It must have already been taken down. Let's just search for chocolate and cheese. Chocolate. Great name for an album too, Chocolate and Cheese. Candy. There's vinyl pre-owned for $80. Here it is. 194 Australian. 300 Australian. Plus $40 shipping from the States. Are you kidding me? There's previous pressings of it. $200. There's some Oreo biscuits. $30, $36 for the disc. Heavy duty cheese slicer, chocolate cutter, cheese chocolate. It does look quite nice actually. That's quite a nice cheese cutter. Oh yeah. Actually, I wouldn't mind one of those. That's quite handy to have. Could also use it to scrape the barbie. Scrape that barbecue clean, mate. Hey, look, I'm going to get out of here now. I'm not streaming tonight or tomorrow. I am working instead. Yeah, I'm working tomorrow. Sunday. What? Who does that? What are you crazy? Yeah, I'm working tomorrow. Unless this text message has something to do with it. No, there you go. Just cool. Yeah, so I won't be streaming, but I'll be hanging out some other time. I don't know when that'll be, but hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for liking the stream. Smash the like button. If you're here watching the replay, drop a comment. If you're also in Australia and you did pre-order like I did, just comment. Tell me you bought it, because there's got to be a few of us that did it in Australia. Hope so anyway, because there's a whole bunch of us out here, whole bunch of fans out here. Come on, Ween, come and tour this country, you slackers. Get back out here. See you guys.